What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about 25 amazing and unique things about Scotland. I've said this before, and I truly believe it. Americans don't know much about the UK, but Americans seem to know if they're gonna know anything, a fair bit about England, and next to nothing about Ireland, Scotland. Don't get me started on Wales. I don't even think most Americans would know where some of these countries are, to be perfectly honest. The whole UK British Isles thing is very confusing. But anyway, thankfully I remedied that long ago. I know where everything is, but I've taken a look at some of the cool places in Scotland before, a little bit of the history, but I feel like a video like this, kind of general, 25 just awesome, unique, cool things about Scotland. I have no idea what these are, very random, and I think that's perfect, because I wouldn't even know what to look up to look at in Scotland. I wouldn't even know what to search for. So I feel like dumping just a bunch of crazy cool stuff is a good idea. Hopefully, you know? Anyway, with that being teed up like that, let's take a look. 25 amazing things about Scotland. Ooh. Oh, what an intro.
25. World's shortest commercial flight. Operated by Loganair, the world's shortest commercial flight takes place between two Orkney Islands. The flight covers a distance of only 1.7 miles or 2.7 kilometers, and if the weather conditions are favorable, it can be completed in 47 seconds.
Okay, hold on. That came out of nowhere. We just got right into it. Okay, I don't mind it. The shortest plane flight in the world is in Scotland? Between where?
Are favorable, it can be completed in miles or between two Orkney Islands.
Orkney Islands. I don't know what that means. Orkney? I'm gonna have to kind of guess. Wait, Orkney? Archipelago in Scotland. Oh goodness. Orkney is an archipelago. What's an archipelago? This is gonna take me into a hole that never stops. This is just going deeper and deeper. Archipelago, sometimes called an island group or island chain. Got it. So Orkney is an archipelago off the northeastern coast of Scotland. Okay, so it's between two tiny islands in a group of islands. And it's the shortest plane ride ever. That's the important thing. In Scotland. Okay.
The flight covers a distance of only 1.7 miles or 2.7 kilometers. And if the
Okay.
weather conditions are favorable, it can be completed in 47 seconds.
Wow.
24. Home of golf. Modern golf originated in Scotland, and the old course of St. Andrews, a town of the eastern coast of the country, is considered
Well, golf? Like all of golf. Pretty big sport, you know? A couple people play that sport, I think. Uh, one of the world's most popular sports. Started in Scotland. I do feel like I've heard Scotland associated with golf or fancy golf courses. I don't know if I ever really appreciated that it was the birthplace of golf. That's pretty cool.
to be the site where the sport was born. 23. Possibly the oldest tree in Europe. Located in the churchyard of the village of Fordingle in Perthshire, Scotland, the Fordingle yew is estimated to be 3,000 to 5,000 years old.
That's the kind of random weird fact I came for. Oldest tree in Europe, was it?
Tree in Europe.
Oldest tree in Europe. Pretty cool. I hope they're protecting this thing.
It could be Europe's oldest tree. With its massive trunk of 15 feet, 16 meters in diameter, the
Wow.
yew is still in good health and may last for many more centuries.
Wow, I mean, that's just one of the longest living things on the planet then. You can hardly say things that, oh, that thing has been alive for 3,000 years, you know, kind of special. Haggis? Haggis. I've heard of haggis. This is scaring me a little.
22. Haggis. Considered the nation dish of Scotland, haggis is a savory pudding containing sheep's pluck, minced with onion, oatmeal, suet, spices, and salt.
National dish of Scotland, really. Sheep's pluck? Sheep's pluck. I didn't think I'd have to look up so much stuff. It's like it's like a whole different language. Sheep's pluck? Yeah, that is a thing. It is a thing. Haggis. Haggis recipe. Sheep's pluck. Heart, liver, lungs. Is this really a common dish in Scotland? Is America that out of tune with the rest of the world? I feel like the rest of the world is on board with eating organs, eating parts of animals and fish, and it's natural. Hunting and gathering and early man, and you ate all the organs, you want to actually appreciate all the parts of the animal. And Americans just don't. And a byproduct of that is that I think it's disgusting. Not my fault. Hey, it's not my fault. I was raised this way. Americans do not eat organs. A part of me wonders what it tastes like, though. It's weird. It's like we're almost taught that eating animal organs is wrong. Or like eating a sheep's brain is like eating a human brain. Like, what is up with that? What is with these deep-seated issues we have? Anyway, I won't knock it. I've never tried it, so I won't criticize it. But I will say, from my American point of view, it's hard to get past that part of it.
Mixed with stock and traditionally encased in the animal's stomach and simmered for about 3 hours.
Oh my goodness. So that's a stomach? What does it taste like? How can I be so disgusted and intrigued at the same time?
Is popularly assumed to originate in this country, but there is no historical evidence to prove this claim. 21. Scotch whiskey. If you ask people what they associate with Scotland, they will most likely say whiskey. And that's right. Whiskey has been the national drink of this country for centuries.
Right. They even call it Scotch. I'm not a huge whiskey aficionado myself. Not a huge liquor connoisseur. So I don't really think about whiskey or learn about alcohol. So this is actually news to me. The narrator was saying this is probably one of the most common associations with Scotland. I expect some Americans would know this one, but not me. I didn't know this.
Since 1494, actually, and Scotch whiskey, often referred to as just Scotch, ranks amongst the finest and most desired whiskeys in the world. 20. Caerlaverock Castle.
Ooh.
Scotland is notable for its abundance of stunning medieval castles.
Yes, and I have to say, that is cool. Coming from a place where there just are not castles. Castles are not a thing. There's not many cool historical landmarks, period, in the United States, unfortunately, just based on our history. So the castles in Scotland and in the UK just continue to blow my mind. That is so cool. It's just not a part of American culture on any level. So I'm really jealous of that.
Some estimates suggest that there are as many as 3,000 castles built in the country. Located on the southern coast, the iconic Caerlaverock Castle, with its typical moat and triangular shape, is one of the most famous ones. 19. Breathtaking Scottish Islands. Scotland boasts of almost 800 islands. Only about 100 of them are permanently inhabited, which
I did not realize Scotland had so many islands. If I can go back to the map and maybe zoom out here. Oh yeah. I mean, look at the western side and the northern side. Oh yeah. Huh. I've always looked at it like zoomed out, When you look at it like zoomed out like this, you don't take in the details. But if you zoom in, if you're Scottish or living in the UK and you've looked at this your whole life, it's obvious that there's a lot of islands. I get that, but it's not obvious to me, except right now, it's really obvious. Okay, got it, a lot of islands.
Which means the remaining islands offer pristine nature, breathtaking views, and unique wildlife. 18. World's longest echo. Set in an underground fuel depot constructed near Invergordon, Scotland before World War II,
What?
the longest reverberations time from start to finish was 112 seconds.
What?
7
Wait, what? What is this? Now that if we're talking random, this is more random than anything else. What the heck? Longest echo? Is that the purpose of this chamber? What the? Just for kicks? For fun? Hey, let's make the longest echo chamber. Ah, here it is. Cool. Now it's in Scotland.
longest reverberations time from start to finish was 112 seconds. 17. Loch Ness Monster. Reputedly occupying the Loch Ness Lake in the Scottish Highlands, the monster nicknamed Nessie is believed to be, by some, a plesiosaur. 6.
Loch Ness Monster is really, really well known in America for some reason. Although somewhere along the way it got lost in translation that the Loch Ness Monster resides in Scotland. I didn't know that. And I wasn't even totally sure that it exists. But either way, existing or not, it's in Scotland. Okay.
16. Burns Cottage. Born in 1759 in Alloway, Robert Burns is considered to be the national poet of Scotland and one of the pioneers of the Romantic movement. The
Okay.
cottage where he was born has been fully restored and has become part of the Robert Burns Birthplace Museum.
Cool. I'm not familiar with his work, but cool.
15. Glenfinnan Viaduct. Built in 1898, the Glenfinnan Viaduct is a spectacular rail viaduct that has been featured in several films and television series, including Ring of Bright Water, Charlotte Gray, Stone of Destiny, and the Harry Potter movies.
Yes, I knew it. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure the Harry Potter train is in Scotland. This is it. Famous. I just had never seen it on this kind of bridge from this angle. And, not magical. So, I wasn't sure.
14. Kilts.
Kilts. This is, at the least, when Americans think of Scotland, they think of kilts. They think of the accent. They think of, I don't know what, and they think of kilts. Iconic. Not really sure what their purpose is. I know they're very ceremonial. But beyond that, I don't know, I could say.
The traditional dress of men and boys in the Scottish Highlands of the 16th century, kilts are an integral part of the local culture and Gaelic heritage.
Yeah.
However, these days, the kilt is usually worn only on formal occasions, folklore festivals, etc.
So he's saying the kilt is only worn in ceremonial festivals and gatherings. Does that suggest that the kilt was worn as just a normal everyday clothing item at one point in Scotland's history? I don't know.
13. Edinburgh Castle. Perched high above the capital, the Edinburgh Castle is Scotland's most important and famous castle, dominating the city skyline for hundreds of years. The castle has been the site of numerous historical events and battles throughout Scottish history. 12.
Pretty cool. I've heard this name before, but I don't have any picture in my mind when I think of the castle. So this is nice. Very cool.
Castle has been the site of numerous coastline, despite being a relatively
Oh, what was this?
Scottish history. 12. Unique Scottish coastline.
Ah.
Despite being a relatively small country, Scotland has an unusually long and indented coastline.
Hey, look, that piece of the coast in the center looks kind of like a whale. I don't know if any Scottish folk have noticed this, but maybe you could name that after the head of a whale, because that's what I see. Or a dolphin. Anyway, just a just a suggestion if we're talking about the coast.
Mainland Scotland has about 6,160 miles, which is about 9,910 kilometers of
Wow.
coastline, which is 3 times larger than that of England and twice that of France or Spain.
Wow.
If you include the numerous islands, it increases to an astonishing 10,250 miles, or 16,500 kilometers. 11. Morag Monster.
What? This is the Loch Ness Monster. What's the difference? They look the same. I've never heard of the Morag Monster. I don't mean to just dump on him. I'm sorry, but I don't know this monster, and I feel like he's taking some of the spotlight away from the Loch Ness Monster. but I'll give it a chance.
We talked about the Loch Ness Monster already, but Scotland has another mysterious resident. That's right, the Loch Ness Monster is not the only legendary creature allegedly living in Scotland. Hiding deep in the waters of Loch Morar in Scottish Highlands resides the Morag Monster. Witnesses say it is a large snake-like creature about 30 feet or 9 meters long.
What are all these monsters doing swimming around Scotland? What are they all doing there? They must really like it there.
10. Skara Brae. Located on the Bay of Scale in the Orkney Archipelago, Skara Brae is a stone-built Neolithic settlement dating back to about 3200 BC. 9.
Oh wow, I'd never heard of that one. Okay.
Highland Bagpipes.
Bagpipes. Bagpipes. That's what I should have said earlier. People think of the Scottish accent, they think of kilts, and they think of bagpipes. A very, very, very unique instrument. And honestly, since it's not a part of American culture, the subject to like a lot of jokes, because it's a very clunky, sort of very unique instrument that it has a bunch of very iconic ways to use it, and no one in America knows how to use it or what's going on, and the sound is very unique, so Americans just don't know what to do with this. It's crazy.
A bagpipe is another item commonly associated with Scotland. The first mention of bagpipes having been used in this country dates back to 1547, when they allegedly replaced a trumpet on the battlefields. 8. Loans and quines. Now, I probably am saying this wrong, but if you're wondering what the heck these are, loans and quines, again, I probably mispronounced these words, are boys and girls in Doric dialect, a very specific dialect spoken in northern eastern Scotland.
Oh, okay. I'm vaguely familiar with this concept. Just a way of speaking in that region of Scotland, with maybe some different, a little slightly different accent, their own sort of Scottish way of speaking, and okay, a dialect, yes.
In Doric dialect, a very specific dialect spoken in northern eastern Scotland.
Okay.
7. Venue of world's first international soccer match.
Oh.
In 1872, Scotland versus England was the first ever official International Association football match. It was held at the West of Scotland Cricket Club's ground at Hamilton Crescent in Patrick.
That's cool. That's actually cool. Imagine having that, or being part of that club now. That is some history.
6. Ben Nevis. Situated deep into the Highlands, Ben Nevis is at 1,344 meters or 4,409 feet, the highest mountain in the UK. 5.
Oh, I was like, what? It took him a while to get to what it is. I was like, is it that path? Is it that crevasse? That crevice there? Or, no, it's the mountain. It has a name. And it's Ben Nevis? Okay.
Callanish Stones.
Oh, what's this?
8. The highest mountain in the UK. 5. Callanish Stones. Located in the Outer Hebrides, the Callanish Stones are an arrangement of standing stones placed in a cruciform pattern with a central stone circle.
Cool. I have to state the obvious that it reminds me of Stonehenge, although this looks a bit more natural? Sort of a more... Were these put here? They had to be, right? They're all standing up the same way in a circle. Okay.
Arrangement of standing stones placed in a cruciform pattern with a central stone circle. Built in the late Neolithic era, they were probably a center of ritual activity during the Bronze Age.
Okay.
4. Glasgow Cathedral and Necropolis. Built in the 12th century, the Glasgow Cathedral is one of the prime landmarks of Scotland's largest city. Next to the cathedral, there is the Glasgow Necropolis, where over 50,000 people have been buried.
A necropolis. Is that like a graveyard? Necropolis. A very fancy graveyard. Has to do with, in video games, has to do with the undead, this word. A cemetery, especially a large one, belonging to an ancient city. Okay, makes sense.
3. Scottish feral goats. Feral goats are a fairly common sight in the Scottish Highlands and are descendants of livestock abandoned by Highlanders during the Highland clearances.
Look at these things. Pretty cool. It's a very hairy goat, isn't it?
The goat act as a living reminder of the region's turbulent past. 2. one of the world's greatest sport derbies.
Huh?
The rivalry between the two famous Scottish soccer clubs, the Glasgow Rangers and the Celtic Glasgow, is enormous. It's deeply embedded in the Scottish culture and has largely contributed to the political, social, and religious division in Scotland.
See, that is another thing that just totally is a bit hard to relate to as an American. There's no life or death rivalry, football rivalries going on between the clubs in America. But I guess we have sort of versions like this with sports. Nothing that gets too insane that I'm aware of. But I've heard about how passionate Europeans can be about football.
Scottish culture and has largely contributed to the political, social, and religious division in Scotland. And won more redheads than anywhere else.
Oh.
Scotland has the highest proportion of red-haired people in the world.
Oh, yeah. I am aware of this. I didn't know it was the highest in the world. But red hair. Because I've seen, they always make a point in cartoons and shows and even, Pixar, Disney movies, if there's Scottish people, to have a red-haired person. And apparently it's based on some amount of fact.
Than anywhere else. Scotland has the highest proportion of red-haired people in the world. As much as 13% of the Scottish population has red hair, and approximately 40% carry the recessive redhead gene.
Wow.
Liking our lists? Be sure to subscribe.
Like 1 in 10 people? That is a lot. I wonder how that happened. Why that gene is so powerful and so common in Scotland. It's kind of cool, though. Very unique. Anyway, this was by List25. I have to give this a like. Are there any comments here? Any interesting comments? As an Englishman, I have to say that I adore Scotland and the Scottish in general. I was kind of disappointed for them not receiving independence from us. It's perfectly understandable why they would want to leave us, really. Is that a thing? This was 7 years ago. Has Scotland wanted to become independent of the UK? Is that a thing? A controversy or something? Scotland is such an amazing little country. Each time I've been there, it's been filled with amazement, banter, the Scots themselves, joy and memories. Can't wait to visit again. Yeah, it seems pretty incredible, Scotland. It's like one of those places, especially, again, coming from America, where visually, it's so different. There's so much more everything's by the coast. There's a lot of coast. There's a lot of beautiful green land, mountains, actual character to the landscape, and the historical buildings. All, a ton of things, countless things that make it sound pretty amazing. So I enjoyed this. This was good because I wanted like a general, hey, tell me about Scotland. Just tell me. Give me whatever you got. And that's exactly what I feel like I got here. A lot of stuff, basically everything that I didn't know before about Scotland. So this was very helpful. Very cool. Anyway, if you thought this was cool as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Scotland, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, the UK, culture there, things there, stuff I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.